你在直播了？
刚开始而已。
这么快就出来了？那没。
太气了吧！
各位现场的贵宾以及媒体朋友们，大家好，大家午安，我是今天的主持人 Rebecca 佩硕。欢迎各位莅临我们今天 Audi RS6 Avant Performance 以及 Audi RS7 Sportback Performance 的上市发表会，一同见证 Audi Sport 经典传承的重要时刻。在今天发表会的一开始，就让我们要一起欢迎我们台湾福斯集团暨台湾奥迪总裁安夏瑞，要我们分享品牌的重点进程。Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome the CEO of Volkswagen Group Taiwan and Managing Director of Audi Taiwan, Mr. Rahil Ansari. Welcome, Rahil.
大家好。No, you can do this better. 大家好。好。Okay, you're awake. That's very good. Nice to see you all. I know you're looking at two beauties and one ugly guy, but I will keep you entertained, I promise you. Now, it's a great occasion for me. You know, we met last time in March during the annual spring wine of the Volkswagen Group Taiwan. And I announced to you that we will have a few models lined up. And actually, you see this over here, that it's part of the Q series, one of it. But of course, also other products, the e-tron series. But this is not why we're here today. Of course, more importantly is the Audi Sports range. And this is exactly what those cars are all about. It's not only about the present, but it's also about the history and about the legacy that Audi Sport has created. Now let's look at this. 40 years of Audi Sport. If I ask any one of you what RS stands for, can someone tell me what it is? Except for the Audi guys here. What does RS stand for? Hands up if you know. No one of you. Have you ever wondered what an RS stands for?
RS 代表什么？现场有人知道吗？但是Audi 内部的人不能回答。有没有现场任何人知道？哦 there is one guy missing.
One guy.
On your right hand side in the front.
Ah, perfect.
Racing sports.
So racing sports. So the German word is Rennsport. Very difficult to pronounce. I know it sounds very harsh. So racing sport is basically the English translation. And this is actually what Audi RS is all about. And it started 40 years ago with Audi Sport. We had in between also the name called Quattro GmbH, but Audi Sport is basically where it all started 40 years ago. We started our legacy in 1981, even a little before, with the Audi Sport series. Who can of you name me one or the other sports series that we have participated in? Or one? Do you know? Anyone heard of Le Mans? Please raise your hand. Yes, of course, you've heard about Le Mans. We've heard about like also Dakar, Pikes Peak, all of it where Audi is basically part of it. Anyone heard of Formula One? Yes, raise your hands. No one heard of Formula One? F1, yes. Of course, this is also where Audi's future is going to lie in. 2026, Audi will participate in the Formula One. But let's look at a little bit of the history of Audi Sport. 4 topics. The first one that I talked about, heritage. 40 years, great heritage. We produced a lot of racing sport cars. In those racing series, we basically also tested those cars and brought them to the road. But not all of it. So of course also the exceptional design, especially if you look at the RS series, the design shape, especially in the front, or the lines. Very particular, side sills of course. It's particular about the RS sporty cars, performance cars, but also craftsmanship. And this especially is also because a lot of detail, a lot of handwork goes into building those cars. Apart from those cars being road tested for more than 8,000 kilometers, these cars are produced in detail, for example, in the Berliner Höfe in Germany, close to Stuttgart, close to Neckarsulm, where basically the RS6 GT is produced. So a lot of the work that Audi and a lot of the engineering does goes into especially those cars that you see here on the left and on the right side. Now, that's of course a little bit of a global perspective. I want to stay a little bit on that global perspective. Do you know how many cars, how many Audi sport cars were sold worldwide last year from Audi? See this number here, 45,515 cars. In a situation where you had supply chain shortage, where you had semiconductors, where you had logistics, being in a position or not being in a position to deliver cars, we had 15% growth, 15.6% growth globally. And of course, we also had a great success in Taiwan. And this number I'm showing you now, if you look at the entire sales of Audi in Taiwan, 11% out of the share are Audi sport models for us. This actually shows it's an elementary part of our foundation, elementary pillar of Audi Taiwan's strategy. And globally, with this share, we are ranked number 7. The 7th best market in the world with that share of Audi Sport. And of course, we will continue this momentum. Globally, for the entire sales, if you talk just pure sales numbers, Audi Taiwan is number 15, which is quite an incredible number. Us being here on this small island, selling so many RS cars, this actually shows there's a lot of passion for sports cars in Taiwan, and it's really appreciated. Now, of course, it's about those 2 beauties that I talked about the RS6 performance and about the RS7 performance. I personally have a very close relationship to both those cars, to be honest. I had the RS7 as a company car, and I had the RS6 as a company car. Now, if you ask me which one I would choose, you would probably have to separate my body and half-half. I would not be able to decide. For me, it's a perfect sports car that can also function as a Gran Turismo, and this is a perfect sports car that can also function as a family car. You can cruise, you can drive, it's sporty, it's stiff on the ground, it's really it's glued to the road, actually. I love, especially the corners of the RS6, I have to be honest. So maybe a little bit of the body will go to that side, but I love both cars. Now, of course, I have to announce one thing to you, because this is probably also the reason why you are here. It's the price of those cars. Before we come to the price of the cars, of course, we have now our product managers, Nikolai Martens and Charles Wu, who will come on the stage, who will present to you more details and give you more specifications on those cars to make you understand it's not only about 630 horsepower, it's not only about 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds, but yes, also. I think the moment has come. You all are waiting eagerly. Let's have a look at the prices for the RS6 Performance and the RS7 Performance. So with 7.5 million and with 7.8 million, yes, not cheap, but you don't only buy a luxury, but you also buy pleasure in life, and this is actually priceless. Having said this, I would like to hand over to my dear friends and colleagues, to Charles and to Nikolai, who will give you some further information, and of course I will hand over to Rebecca first. Thank you.
Thank you. 然后我们掌声谢谢我们台湾奥迪总裁3位为我们带来我们这个品牌的重点继承，还有历史沿革，以及呢为我们 release， 当然今天大家都很期待的我们的建议售价。那在这个时候呢，我们同时也要谢谢我们辛苦的车手教练们，我们先掌声给他们一个掌声好吗？我们车手教练都还在车里面。刚刚在一开场的时候为我们带来呢非常完美的 car show， 演绎了4台不同的车款。那如同刚刚总裁所分享，我们今年 Audi Sport 公司也即将要迎来公司成立的40周年，所以在这个重要也值得纪念的时刻呢，我们也要借由这个机会，好好的谢谢我们的车主们一直以来的支持。那今天呢，也带来2款不同世代的 RS6 的车款到现场来提供给大家来做展演。So I shared by Mr. Ansari. So this year is going to be the Audi Sport 40th anniversary this year. And on this special moment, we would like to take this chance to thank our car owners for their support by having 2 generations of RS6 heritage models join us today at this event. 就是大家可以看到呢，先看右手边这个后方的这一台，就是呢我们的代号 C6 2010年的 Audi RS6 Avant。接下来呢，就可以看到各位左手边左前方的这一台呢，是代号 C7 2016年的 RS6 Avant Performance。我们今天呢，希望用一个经典传承的方式来迎接新时代的这2台，刚刚他说的，我们的总裁所说的2位 beauties。所以呢，大家应该也很迫不及待的想要知道更多的性能，还有更多的细节。所以接下来的时间呢，我们就要邀请到台湾销售规划经理 Team Lead of Sales Planning and Product Nikolai Martens， 以及我们产品及价格管理经理，就是我们的 Product and Pricing Manager Charles Wu 来为我们做更进化跑格体验的说明。让我们一起掌声欢迎 Charles and Nikolai。Welcome, Nikolai and Charles.
Welcome everybody. So Charles and I are very happy to be here today with you and talking Audi Sport. Well, Audi Sport and Taiwan, this is a love relationship. And as Rahel mentioned, Taiwan has been climbing the Audi Sport ladder quite quickly the last years. Actually, in total sales volume, Taiwan is already number 15 in the world in our Audi Sport ranking. And that's, when you look at the population, it's like number 57 in the world. And when you look at the sales ratio, this gets even more crazy. This is a top 10 material here. We are number 7 in the world ranking of Audi Sport. Well, and why do you think Taiwanese customers love Audi Sport models so much? Does any one of you have an idea?
刚刚你跟我们很简单的介绍了一下整个 Audi Sport 在台湾很辉煌的销售的记录。那这些辉煌的销售记录当然会来自于我们市场的高接受度。那请问在座的各位媒体朋友，有谁知道为什么 Audi Sport 在台湾这么的受欢迎呢？哪位知道吗？你说，你说。
第一，我觉得是产品选择多；第二是它可以一台车当2台车用，驾驶者可以开得很畅快，但是身边的家人也可以坐得很舒服。
The first is more product availability, we offer so many product portfolio here. And the second is the one car can serve different alternatives. There's a comfortable sedan and a performance boost.
I really like that answer, and it's definitely part of it. I have a little other theory that adds to it, and I will tell you later what I mean with it. But before that, let's look a little bit into the heritage of Audi RS Plus and performance models. And Charles, please, the stage is yours.
刚刚尼克为我们介绍了整个奥迪Sport在台湾很好的一个销售表现。那刚刚总裁在开场的时候也提到说，整个奥迪Sport有很好的一个传承。那所以今天我们也想借这个机会，很简单的带各位回顾一下高性能的车系在整个奥迪Sport的演化里面，它的一个进化的历程。那如同各位在投影幕上看到的，第一世代就是75的奥迪 RS6 Avant Plus， 它其实在2004年的时候就已经问世，而且以限量999台的一个销售量，在全世界贩卖，而且得到非常好的一个销售成绩。在第二代 C6 RS6 Avant Plus 的一个车型上面呢，也是各位今天在舞台的左手边看到，我们的车主跟我们一起共襄盛举，所展演的这台蓝色 RS6 Plus 的一个车型上，这个车型呢，也是我们在所有的 RS 的车系里面第一次在最高时速上面可以突破300公里的一个产品，代表性的产品。那接下来呢，在2016年，我们就推出了 C7 世代的 RS6 Avant Performance， 也就是你扣现在右手边所看到的灰色这台车型。那这个车型呢，也是我们在 RS 的性能车系里面第一台0-100加速能够突破4秒，达到3秒7这样的高性能表现的一个车型。那当然，最后呢，就会是我们今天即将登场的7-8世代的 RS6 Avant Performance 跟 RS7 Performance。Now, Nicole, would you please explain a little bit more about how powerful and how exciting these two cars?
I will, but please bear with me one more second, because I still owe you the answer what my theory is why actually Taiwanese customers love Audi Sport so much. And I think it's not only the products which are the result of what we do. I think really Taiwanese customers get why we do it. We strive to do better, we want to innovate, we want to compete, we want to progress. This is really understood by our Taiwanese customers. And so let's have a look what the progress on the RS6 Avant performance and the RS7 Sportback performance looks like. So how did we do it before we go deeper into the numbers? Actually, we put in a larger turbocharger which can compress the air even further from 2.2 to 2.4 bars. We made a new software that allows for sharp, faster shifting. We have new performance wheels, and actually, for the sound enthusiasts of you, we actually decreased the insulation between the engine and the interior cabin for more racy RS sound. So, the result is simply astonishing. 30 horsepower more on an existing model, plus 15 Newton meters of torque. And this, due to the new performance wheels, can actually be brought to the street. We decrease the acceleration from 0 to 100 to 0.2 seconds to 3.4 seconds. So, you know now about the technical data, but what does it feel like to drive them? What about driving dynamics? And if you look closer into that, we actually put in a new self-locking center differential, which helps us to distribute torque to rear and front, and we actually have like an optimal Audi Sport ratio for that. Do some of you know it? Like how much percent do we normally put in front and how much in the rear?
在座各位有谁知道，在整个扭力的分配上面，我们的 Audi Sport 车型它前后扭力的分配大概是多少比多少？哪位知道吗？
前40或60。
40 versus 60?
Yes, this is exactly correct. So this is like the optimal Audi Sport ratio, 60% in the rear, 40% in the front. But actually not in all situations. And if it comes to it, this new self-locking center differential helps you to put up to 70% in the front and up to 85% in the back, depending on the situation. And the high-performance tires, I just mentioned them already. Actually, Charles will show you the design of them later on. They are 5 kilograms lighter, so 20 kilograms in total because we have 4 of them. And we have this new high-performance tires that always comes together with them. So, and combined with this torque distribution, this means actually that we have much less understeering, so much more precise cornering. So now you know all about the inner values of these two proper beasts. I think you're interested to know more about the exterior and interior differentiation, and Charles is just about the right person to tell you more about that.
Thank you very much, Nico. 刚刚尼克为我们介绍了在整个性能的调教上面，奥迪原厂如何透过 turbocharger 涡轮进气的增压的改变，还有透过中央差速器的一个调整，让整个操控跟性能比现在的车型更极致推进的一个原因。那除了这些内在性能的强化跟调教之外，当然我们在产品的外观跟内装上面也会有跟现在的 RS6 Avant 跟 RS7 Sportback 不一样的地方。首先在外观的部分呢，我们借由透过在原厂设定导入消光、钛灰这样的颜色元素，在我们车子的外观，也就是车顶、行李架、窗框的部分，以及各位看到的在后视镜的镜罩上面，我们都会有原厂设定的消光钛灰的一个元素。那现场各位看到这两台车，除了原厂设定的消光钛灰之外，其实我们有加选了黑色套件，所以这两部车可以提供除了原厂设定的消光钛灰的一个选择之外，黑色套件也能够让车主更加进一步去符合它客制化这样的一个需求。那除了在外观的改变之外，刚刚你有特别介绍到，这一次我们在铝圈的部分，原厂有非常新的一些科技跟导入。在铝圈的部分，我们这次特别导入了4款全新的22寸锻造铝圈。那这个锻造铝圈除了它的外形非常狂野之外，它每一颗铝圈就可以减重5公斤，所以4颗铝圈基本上就可以达到减重20公斤这样的一个轻量化的一个性能的表现。那对整体的车辆操控会有非常大的一个帮助。那除了外观在造型、在铝圈上面的改变之外，我们也增加了新的三个车色。首先是金属的蓝色，跟2个在高端性能车主上面非常喜欢的消光色系，一个是消光蓝色，一个是消光银色。那我们希望能够透过这样子多样化的色彩的一个选择，能够满足车主成就他独一无二 RS Performance 车型的一个愿望。那接下来在外观之外呢，我们想跟各位介绍一下，在内装的部分，我们有哪些不一样的地方。首先打开车门，各位就可以看到，在车主上车之前，会有一个 RS Performance 车型专属的 RS Performance LED 入门迎宾灯。这个迎宾灯在前后4个门都可以看得到。那我们希望能够透过这样的一个设定，让车主在上车之前就能够感受到 RS Performance 的一个热血。那除了这个之外呢，我们在原来的车室内装上面本来就既有红色跟灰色2种不同色调的元素，让客人去做选择。除了红色跟灰色之外，我们这次也是增加蓝色的元素。那这个蓝色的元素呢，它会体现在车辆的车室内装的缝线，比如说座椅的缝线、排挡板的缝线、方向盘的缝线上面。那此外呢，我们也会把这个蓝色的元素呢， 整合到我们新增加的碳纤维饰板上面，让客人在操驾的过程当中，除了视觉之外，也能够有触觉上面的一个满足。那刚跟各位介绍了 RS6 Performance、RS7 Performance 在外观跟内装以及性能上面的一个重点。那接下来我们就请Nicole很简短的帮我们做一下这两个产品的一个总结。Now Nicole, could you also summarize a bit the product highlights of these two powerful and beautiful performance models?
That's very easy. So, as you have seen, actually we have the increased performance by so much, and we have the racy RS design and the next level customization of options for these two models. So it should be easy to choose these two.
那刚刚你跟我们介绍，做一个总结 ，RS6 Avant Performance、RS7 Sportback Performance 基本上无一无二的性能，非常华丽的外观设计，以及更多的客制化的选项。那希望在座的各位也能跟我们一样，喜欢爱上这样的一个 performance model。那以上就是针对 RS6 Avant Performance 跟 RS7 Sportback Performance 为各位做了一个短短的产品介绍。谢谢各位。Thank you much，
谢谢。
Thank you, Nicole and Charles。我们所介绍的这两款 Performance 系列呢，非常强悍的动力性能，还有呢它们的内装外观非常详细的介绍。那接下来在今天我们两款车款的上市发表会上，我们就要邀请奥迪台湾的长官跟贵宾到舞台上来，我们要一起进行大合照。Now I would like to take this chance to invite the directors of Audi Taiwan to come up to the stage for a group photo。那我们也请媒体朋友们可以先就位准备拍摄。那首先呢，欢迎台湾福斯集团及台湾奥迪的总裁 ，I'd like to welcome CEO and Chairman of Volkswagen Group Taiwan and Managing Director of Audi Taiwan, Mr. Rahul Ansari. Please come over to the stage and stand in the center。接下来我们欢迎台湾奥迪销售处长 Audi Taiwan Head of Sales 孙宇郎先生 ，Welcome。接着欢迎台湾奥迪行销